Well, now that the Fit is officially turbocharged, there's only one thing left to do. Finish the shop. This back section is looking pretty good. We got Molly in here, but as of now, this place is empty. And it's the same thing for the paint booth area. And so in this video, we're gonna fix that. For one, I'm gonna build some awesome DIY storage solutions that you guys could replicate for your own home garage. I'm talking things like a tire rack, a tub rack, metal storage, tool storage, plus a few other things. But secondly, we're going to completely redo the main section of the shop. All of this is gonna be moving. We have new lifts. We are redoing the fab area, ditching the big rack, and just completely revamping this place to make it more efficient and cooler looking. This video is going to be completing a 3-year-long process. We've been redoing the shop and adding additions ever since we moved in 3 years ago. At the end of this video, it's gonna be done. But before we can start redoing the main area of the shop, we have to finish the storage area of the shop, the new addition. Because obviously, we have to have a place to put all the stuff we want to store in the storage area. So first thing I'm going to build right here is a double layer tire rack. Up top, we'll have room for smaller wheels and tires. On the bottom right here, we'll have room for my bigger wheels and tires, such as the ones that are on the drift truck. But we're gonna keep room underneath this outlet for engines. So that will be a perfect little storage area. Now, instead of buying expensive tire racks, they're like $100 a piece online, I'm gonna build these using 2x4s, wood screws, and house paint. About $30 all in. Aha! Yeah. I mean, I can hold 160 pounds plus a wheel, so. So there we have the tire rack. I know I said I was gonna build another one on top of it, but I've decided that 8 tires, I think, is probably gonna be plenty for me. Plus, these are just tires right now. I'm probably gonna get rid of them. So I'll have plenty of room, and I think it'll look better if we have some banners above all this instead. Next up is building a rack for Home Depot tubs. Now you guys might have seen this on TikTok, on other YouTube channels like Boosted John. I don't know who came up with it, but it's gotten popular and it's a great idea. Pretty much it's a wooden rack out of 2x4s that holds just the standard size tubs from Home Depot perfectly. Now most of the ones that you guys have seen mount the tubs depth-wise. Well, I'm gonna mount them width-wise because it's gonna go on this wall and I still want to be able to get a car in and out. The concept is really easy. It's just a box with a couple of shells for the tubs and you're good to go. Well, here it is. It's pretty cool. You can kind of slide them out and that's about it. I used 12 2x4s on this, which 12x3, $36. Plus screws, you know, you could build this thing for 50 bucks, which compared to one of these racks, which is like $300, this begins to look like a much better idea. And you can hold way more of these than one of those can. So it's a win-win. I'm gonna start organizing, but before I do that, I'm gonna take all these off and give this thing a coat of paint because wood color is ugly. So, Now, before I go ahead and actually organize these tubs and get them all situated, I'm going to finish the storage closet, which is this mysterious room that you guys have been seeing in the background. That way, any of the junk that I find in these boxes, these tubs while I'm organizing, I can kind of put it in the storage closet. Got some shelves. 15 bucks. So the storage closet is now done. The door is installed the correct way, so the doorknob isn't super tall. And then we have this beautiful place. I know, I mean, it's just, listen, it's just a storage closet. But when the shop has never had a storage closet and all this stuff had a home randomly placed throughout the shop, having a storage closet for everything to be in one spot, freaking rad. And as you can tell, plenty more room for more stuff. But with that done, gonna go ahead and organize these tubs. So I got all my piles of junk. I think I've got an organization. So pretty much each pile is gonna be its separate box. I've separated all the AN hoses because that'll make it easier. There's a mist box. There's like a fab parts box, interior, brakes and springs, electrical, and then a box per car. And so here we are. I even got a little label maker, so everything has a nice sticker. And look at this label maker can even do little pictures. So we got the drift truck, we've got Molly, the Fit, and some other car. Very happy with the way that turned out. Now I'm going to start reorganizing the shop because the next order of business is to create a new metal storage system. The days of the big rack are over. Some things about the big rack were awesome. Most things kind of stunk. So we're ditching the big rack. We're gonna make a shelving unit right here that utilizes some of the Home Depot tubs, but we're also gonna do some wall mounts. We're gonna mount the big sticks over where this big shelf is. So the big shelf has to be ditched. Pretty much this entire shop has to be reorganized in order to make room for over here. Now is the perfect time to do it because we can finally move this stupid lift that can't even go all the way up because it's right under a beam. So we're gonna ditch this lift, we're going to replace the other two lifts, move everything around. I'm talking a full revamp. So, first step is to move everything. Now, one of the main things I disliked about the big rack was how sheet metal was stored. So here I'm making a new sheet metal storage system that will allow me to easily slot in perfectly sized sheets for the plasma table, and it'll allow me to store like 8 different types. So here's the new metal storage. Over here we have the sheet metal storage that I made. Got everything labeled nicely. In the tubs we have small pieces of tubing or small pieces of plate, etc. Up here we have mufflers, resonators, flex pipes. And over here we have tubing and tubing. So we got, aluminum straight pieces, UJs, U's, 90s. Now that that is done, we can continue. Now that that is done, we can continue. And this is a sad moment because we are saying goodbye to the original caster couches. They are comfy, they're really comfy, but they're cream and they're pretty big. You know, at some points they were nice. Most of the time, they were just taking up way too much space, shoved in a corner. So we're getting rid of both of these, and instead I'm gonna get a much smaller black couch. And with this big shelf gone, for one, we can put full sticks of steel on the wall. Then secondly, we can have the new couch here with a little coffee table, fridge kind of stuff, a little space away from everything. Because keep in mind, the lift's gonna be over here, so no cars are gonna have to be back there. It's just gonna work out much better.
Not as comfortable, but way
smaller. Much smaller. Serves its purpose.
Yep.
So we have this section over here kind of complete. You know, we have all of our jack stands on the walls, our toe daddies on the wall, you know, all of our tools that we need kind of when we're working on a vehicle over here. But now it's time for a special touch. And so a huge thank you to the Nobori Connection for sending out these flags for the shop. I really love how it worked, using them as curtains to hide all of the stuff that's being stored on the walls. And the Nobori Connection makes a bunch of awesome JDM and other flags, and they're all a really fair price. So if you guys are interested, I'll have a link in the description and up in the cards to check them out. And so last but not least, we are going to install 2 brand new BendPak lifts. We're ditching this Chinese knockoff and we're ditching the old BendPak that's way out there in turn for these brand new BendPak lifts. I had a BendPak lift at my old shop. One of my biggest regrets was not bringing it down from Chicago with me, because that thing was nice. And these lifts are old and kind of sketchy, and they're in terrible locations, or at least one of them is. Huge thank you to BendPak for sending out 2 lifts. I mean, that is pretty crazy. They also sent me out a set of quick jacks, which will be nice to have for either the paint booth or just, you know, when somebody wants to work on a car outside or right here. It's like a nice compromise for, you know, not using jack and jack stands.
I was originally gonna hire somebody to install these, but A, that's expensive, and B, everyone I talked to told me it's easy, do it yourself. So I'm gonna try to install a lift by myself.
Problem is that it's heavy.
The first thing I'm gonna do is unbox it, because obviously there's lots of stuff here. I need to figure out everything that I got. I don't think the actual process of putting it together is too difficult. It's just the process of lifting it and putting it into place.
So we have the lift unboxed, and this is when I start to get a little bit more relaxed, because there's not much to it. You got the 2 vertical posts, you got the top beam, you got the legs and like accessories, and then you have the hydraulic hoses, the steel cables, wiring stuff, anchors, and shims and miscellaneous electrical things. When it comes down to it, lifts are actually pretty simple. Now, before we can actually start putting the lift up and drilling holes and doing all that, we first have to assemble each post on the ground. So a couple things have to go in them, and we have to choose a location. Now, as I've been mentioning throughout this video, we're gonna be putting the 2 lifts up front here,
side by side. So one will go right where this lift currently is, bye-bye cheap Chinese lift, and then the other will go where this open space is. No longer are we going to have a lift under a beam. Goodbye beam lift, and goodbye big rack. Man, all of these OG things from the shop are saying goodbye in this video. And actually, we're also gonna say goodbye to the drain in the floor. I figured while we're doing, you know, work over here, we're gonna have to epoxy the floor where the old lifts are. It's a great opportunity to get rid of this because it's nothing. This drains to this, which is mostly full of concrete, but not all the way. So we're gonna ditch the top railings, fill it all the way up with concrete so it just looks like a nice flat floor, and then we can start working on the lifts. Honestly, despite my screw-ups, it was a success. It's kind of satisfying to work with concrete. You know, you mix it up, you put it in, you level it out. I would go back to Home Depot and get more bags because I want it to be, you know, all the way to the top. You can still see there's a bit of a rim, but I actually sold Home Depot out of the bags. They only had 7 left, so, you know. But I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let this dry. Once it's dry, I can put like a top layer of thinner concrete that will self-level much better and will blend in with the existing floor much better. And so with that, the drain is now filled with concrete, looking pretty good. Once it's epoxied the same color, I don't think you'll really notice it. But as this dries, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on assembling these lift posts. Well, I got the equalizing cables and safety release cables and lever installed on the posts. All very easy, self-explanatory. It does sometimes get a little confusing with all the words and terms they're using, but you know, having a lift here that is of the same design is actually kind of nice. But man, look at this. How small these equalizing cables are versus how thick these ones are. I am oh so liking the look of that. So now we're gonna put in some hydraulic hoses that are just easy to do while they're on the ground and jerry rig something to get these standing. I got this. This right here is a 880-pound electric hoist, and I'm going to mount that on that steel beam. I'm gonna weld the hoist to that beam, lift the lift up, and then once it is lifted up, I believe with one other person, we'll be able to kind of like wiggle it around the shop standing up and get it into the place that we want. This might not work, might be sketchy. We're gonna try it, and if it looks too sketchy, we'll abort.
an injustice. Like some people.
It works. The hoist lifts the lift, no problems. But I wasn't able to get it tall enough because the welder's down here and I don't have long enough torch. So I'm gonna cut my mount off and raise it. So the new setup is complete. We have the hoist mounted up about 2 more feet. You can see where it used to be mounted. There's also another support, so it's stronger and it's welded better because I was able to get the welder up there. And then down here, we ditched the ratchet strap and I fabricated this lift that bolted the bolts to the lift, and then it's got the hook mount. So we should be able to lift this nearly vertical and then take the back off the dolly, set it down.
Vertical. I'm going to lift the back up with the engine hoist, put it down on the flat ground, and then lift it all the way up. Don't make those noises, fucking.
Sketchy maybe, but it worked. So that one's close to its correct position. Look, no damage to the floor, no damage to the fresh concrete. So now let's do it on the second one. Well, there's some progress. We got the old lift out. You guys remember the concrete used to look like this shit? Oh my God. And then we also got the top bar mounted on the new BendPak and the top bar removed off the old BendPak. So this one's ready to come down, but we're not gonna do that until the second new one is up because the less I have to move that, the better. Huge thank you to my friend Mike and of course to Isaac for helping me with these lifts. I was doing it all myself, but the help was greatly appreciated and it went quickly. Getting this lift down was a breeze, getting that up was awesome. We're almost there. But for now, I'm gonna finish this one. It is bolted down and it is kind of shimmed to be level, but to get it all finalized, we have to route the cables and the hydraulics around to the top, put the arms on, and then wire it up. And so with that, we have a lift that is about 95% installed. Everything is in, it just has to be wired up. And then once it's wired up, I can do the final leveling, torque all the anchors down, and make sure the leveling cables are all tensioned properly. But yeah, since I don't have a forklift, I can't do that until the lift is actually functioning, going up and down. So I'm gonna do it all again and get started on the second one. So with that, both of the new lifts have been installed and both the old lifts had been removed, and it was time to work on some smaller things while I waited for my friend to come up and wire the new lifts. These things included hanging banners, setting some stuff up for my friend's area, moving the signs, and moving the TV. You ever seen a TV stand welded before?
Who invented that though? That's amazing.
Working class royalty did. A good friend of mine. Alright. Get level.
Smacks the TV. Cody, can you walk under his TV for us?
Yeah.
Cody wired the lifts up.
We waiting on some?
Nope. I think it just has to pressurize the lines. It sounds pretty neat. Oh.
Racing out of the crowd.
Oh. Oh.
A lift with locks? God.
Lift with locks. Okay, and then. So listen, now that that works, I can finish the install. Gotta lube them up, gotta adjust the cables a little bit more, gotta make sure that everything is aligned properly and torque it down. But, I mean, we got working lifts essentially. Good job. Welcome. Yet again, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, this one's a little jank. So I went ahead and tightened the cables. You can see I have greased the inside of the lift post. And so now, to make sure the lift is perfectly level, I measure the distance between the two arms on the bottommost lock, which is 109 centimeters. And then I lift the lift to the top lock. Perfect. So that means that both of the posts are perfectly parallel, because obviously if they were a little bit out or a little bit in, that distance would change. So now I can torque down the anchors. While it's up here, I'm also going to grease the bottom of the lift. Oh, I'm done. Finally done. That's everything I wanted to get done. Lifts are fully installed, concrete's painted, storage is moved, metal storage. Back room is finished, not the paint booth, but the back room. The flags are up, the stuff behind the flags are mounted, all the desks are moved around. I'm exhausted. I don't ever want to work on lifts or shops again. But that'll change in about a month, you know? Now, we haven't actually tested the lifts yet, but I figure this is a good car to start with. It's the lightest one in the bunch. Two things I'm really excited for. For one, these arms are shorter, so it's easier to load awkward sized vehicles like this onto it. But also, these have adjustable rubber pads, because you can just screw the pad up and down to get it nice and firm against the car body so it doesn't move around. And since they're rubber, the car's not gonna slip and slide on it. Plus, theoretically, with these pads, I can level a car out perfectly. So when we're doing fabrication on the lift, it's easy. Whereas with the old lift, I had to make custom shims. Easy. That was the safest I've ever felt lifting a vehicle into the air. And I installed these lifts, so that's saying something. Why don't we take it up another level? There's like 1,000 pounds more. Dude, with the other lift, you would bounce on the back or the front, and the entire thing would start shaking. Thing's so much more solid. What can I say? The new lifts are awesome. They're in, they're working. Let's go. I understand that this probably isn't that big of a deal to you guys, but you weren't the ones using the old lifts. The old lifts worked, but every single lock besides the very top one was so worn out, where if you would lower the full weight of the vehicle onto it, it would skip past the lock and drop the vehicle a couple inches before the hydraulics caught it again. That had happened to us a couple times. Plus they were wobbly, they were old, they were unmaintained, and they were sketchy. And these, I own. The other ones I was renting from my landlord, so I'm saving money too. The fact that BendPak sent these out to me and trusted me to install them properly, and here they are, I'm honored. Thank you so much, BendPak. Thank you. Thank you, BendPak. But now that everything is fully installed and finished, let me take you on a tour of Gingium V2 and show you how awesome it is. But with that, that's pretty much it. The quick jacks, I'll show you guys in a future video when we finish the paint booth. But besides that, this shop is finished. Everything besides the paint booth. I'm happy we did it. I mean, this place is freaking awesome. The dyno's gonna go right there. Yeah, but just the way everything looks, I mean, this place looks sick. It's so much more functional now. The only thing we do have to eventually change is this metal storage area, because storing metal right above where you relax, kind of whack. But yeah, I'm super happy with the results. Thank you again, BendPak. Thank you again, Nobori Connection, for sending out the flags. I highly recommend you guys check out both those companies if you want either of their products. You know, BendPak lifts are actually pretty affordable, and you can get them financed. So, I mean, it is a lifesaver, both literally and figuratively. In the next video, we're gonna be working on the Honda Beat, starting to add some horsepower to it. About damn time. I'm so excited to work on a project again. I hope you guys are excited to see that. Thank you all for watching this video. Thank you all for supporting the channel. Of course, if you wanna watch the next video ahead of schedule, you can check out Patreon, where you will get early access to videos. Lunch is ready, but you'll get early access to videos and a bunch of other exclusive stuff. I'm gonna enjoy my homemade chicken, piping hot. Much healthy, such yum. Very wow.